In the vast, silent expanse where heaven and earth seem to hold their breath, the path of immortality grows ever more treacherous. Countless cultivators have risen and fallen like fleeting sparks, yet one name continues to echo against the currents of fate, Wang Lin. In the previous chapters, storms gathered beneath calm waters, old grudges stirred, hidden forces revealed their fangs, and the fragile balance between life and death teetered on the edge of collapse. Each step forward demanded a heavier price, and the line between friend and foe blurred like mist in the mountains. Now, as we enter recap Renegade Immortal Chapter 601-602, the winds of destiny howl louder than ever. Secrets long buried begin to surface, and the consequences of past choices loom like shadows at dusk. Will Wang Lin seize control of his fate, or be swept away by forces beyond even his comprehension? The tale resumes where tension coils like a drawn bow, ready to release. Before the wind could settle, before the heavens themselves could breathe, a field of temptation lay silent beneath a gathering storm. Endless, boundless, stretching beyond sight, a plain covered entirely in fruits that could shake the will of mortals. These were not rare treasures of legend. No, the celestial ascension fruits were known, whispered of across worlds. Not common, yet not beyond reach. Even on the distant lands of Suzaku, one could stumble upon them, if fate allowed. Each fruit was no larger than a newborn's fist. Its skin shimmered in deep violet hues, exuding a fragrance that twisted the senses. To a mortal, a single bite would ignite overwhelming pleasure. A sensation so intoxicating, so euphoric, it felt as though one had ascended to the heavens themselves. And thus they were named, celestial ascension fruits, but such pleasure came with chains. Mortals who tasted them fell into endless craving, enslaved by that fleeting illusion of divinity. Cultivators, however, were different. Their will, tempered by cultivation, could resist the deeper corruption. Yet even among them, there were those who willingly surrendered, chasing that momentary bliss, abandoning reason for sensation. In the mortal realm, only emperors, nobles, and those with boundless wealth could acquire such fruits. They would trade fortunes to cultivators just to taste that false ascension, just to pretend, for a moment, that they were immortals. But Wang Lin, he stood amidst this ocean of temptation, and did not spare it a second glance. His gaze was cold, unmoved, because something far more dangerous had arrived. A sharp crack echoed through the air. The restraints of the land shattered, and from the distortion, a black armored bone arm burst forth, carrying with it an overwhelming surge of demonic spiritual energy. The air thickened. The ground trembled. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed, turning colder than frost. Without hesitation, his hand reached into his storage. In the next breath, the celestial sword appeared. At that moment, Shuligwo let out a sharp roar. For years, he had followed Wang Lin, ever since his failed rebellion, walking on thin ice, never daring to provoke displeasure again. But now, an opportunity had come. If I earn merit today, perhaps he will forget the past. Shuligwo thought, his spirit trembling with determination. The celestial sword hummed, a proud weapon, a blade that stood above all others. Yet now, the sound it released carried something strange, not pure, not noble, something tainted, dark. The bone arm moved. It clawed toward Wang Lin once more, dragging with it a gentle yet suffocating heavenly demon wind. But Wang Lin had already prepared. His heart of slaughter surged forth, cold, merciless. In one swift motion, he slashed. A streak of sword energy tore through the air, and behind it, the celestial sword transformed into a roaring dragon of steel, charging forward under Shuligwo's control. The clash began instantly, sword against bone, power against corruption. Yet the bone arm showed no fear. It reached out and grabbed the sword directly. The moment they touched, a violent sizzling erupted, like ice cast upon burning iron. Shuligwo burst into laughter, pride swelling within him, but that pride lasted only a heartbeat. From the wrist guard, a surge of dense demonic spiritual energy flooded into the sword. Shuligwo froze. He tried to retreat, but the grip tightened like iron pliers. There was no escape. Wang Lin watched silently, cold, calculating, and then he raised his finger. Demonic finger. This time, it was different. No celestial energy, no death aura. Instead, he seized the very demonic spiritual energy flooding the battlefield. With ascendant level power, he twisted the forces of heaven and earth. His index finger became a vortex. All the surrounding demonic energy rushed toward it, spiraling violently. At its tip, A black light formed. It devoured brightness itself, a singularity of darkness. With a flick, it shot forward, too fast to follow, too fast to evade. The bone arm shattered instantly. Fragments exploded outward. And Shuligwo seized the moment, pulling the sword free. But the destruction was not the end. From the shattered remains, a symbol flared upon the wrist guard. The broken bones spread outward, forming a massive halo, 10,000 feet wide. A prison, a domain of pure demonic energy. Then, more symbols ignited. A sound rang out, a bell, not from the earth, but from the heavens themselves. The sound crashed down like thunder. Its power far exceeded the heavenly demon wind. Even Wang Lin's heart of slaughter trembled under its assault. His clarity began to falter. His expression darkened. With a single step, he rose into the sky. His hand formed a seal, then transformed into a palm strike that descended upon the wrist guard. The moment his palm made contact, a monstrous demonic flame erupted. From it, a shadow emerged, small, fist-sized, pitch black, a single horn protruding from its head, and then it smiled, a smile filled with contempt. The next instant, it burst into laughter, a laugh that shook the soul. Wang Lin's origin soul trembled violently, yet his eyes only grew colder. His hand did not stop. He pressed down harder. The shadow laughed again, louder, sharper. The sound waves exploded between them, creating violent sonic booms. But those were merely the surface. The true attack struck directly at Wang Lin's origin soul. His soul began to drift, pulled outward. His heart of slaughter wavered on the brink of collapse. The shadow grinned wildly, laughing, mocking, relentless. Wang Lin bit the tip of his tongue. Blood filled his mouth. But instead of retreating, he stepped forward, grasping the wrist guard tightly. Celestial spiritual energy surged from his body, flooding into it. The laughter stopped instantly, but the shadow vanished. It slipped into Wang Lin's arm, entering his body, transforming into waves of demonic energy that rushed toward his origin soul. The demonic dance of confusion had begun. Wang Lin descended rapidly. Landing upon the ground, he sat cross-legged. The demonic energy surged through his meridians, creating endless illusions, illusions that struck directly at his soul. His eyes flickered with ghostly light. Then he looked at the fruits, thousands upon thousands of celestial ascension fruits surrounding him. Without hesitation, he waved his hand. Every fruit within 10,000 feet tore free from their branches, rising into the sky. A sea of violet filled the heavens. More than 10,000 fruits, a sky of temptation. But the demonic energy within him grew stronger. His soul was being pulled away. Time was running out. Wang Lin's expression hardened. His hand clenched. In an instant, every fruit shattered, juices extracted, gathered, compressed, refined again and again, until only one drop remained, a single drop of blood-red liquid. Without hesitation, he swallowed it. The effect was immediate. His body trembled violently. The sensation exploded within his mind like thunder, pleasure, overwhelming, endless. His consciousness surged to its peak, yet he suppressed it, forced it down, turned that ecstasy into power. And in that moment, his drifting soul halted. His eyes turned bloodshot, veins bulged across his face. Pain and pleasure collided within him. Scram! His voice thundered across the land. A black shadow was forced out from his arm halfway. Struggling, laughing madly, trying to return, Wang Lin's expression turned savage. The force within him surged uncontrollably. Pain, pleasure, suppressed, compressed, until they exploded. Scram! With a roar, he expelled the shadow completely. It was thrown into the air. Wang Lin lunged forward instantly, grabbing it. His celestial energy surged into the shadow, crushing it. It screamed, collapsed, then transformed into threads, escaping his grasp, reforming 100 feet away, staring at him with vicious hatred. But Wang Lin ignored it. Because the power within him was reaching its peak, without hesitation, he stepped forward and raised his pinky finger, underworld finger. With ascendant cultivation, he invoked the domain of life and death, the will of his soul, the essence of his path. And under the amplification of the celestial ascension fruit, that power reached its absolute limit. The heavens darkened, the world trembled, the sky began to collapse. This one finger contained life, contained death. The horned shadow screamed in terror. It tried to flee, but it was too late. The finger descended, and the shadow collapsed into nothingness. Far away, within an ancient battlefield, inside a black tower, an armor roared with fury. Its will surged outward, merging with the void. Back on the plain, the demonic prison shattered, the 10,000-foot domain vanished. Wang Lin stood silently, still gripping the wrist guard. It struggled violently, releasing waves of demonic energy, but his grip did not loosen. He spat out a mouthful of origin energy. It spread across the wrist guard like a web, sealing it completely. Then he stored it away, yet his eyes remained blood red. The effects of the fruit had not faded. Instead, a terrifying battle intent was born within him, uncontrollable, unstoppable. He raised his hand. The celestial sword returned, landing firmly in his grasp, and behind him, Shu Liguo did not dare to speak, because the Wang Lin before him was like a storm on the verge of destroying the heavens. A storm was rising, not in the heavens, but within a single man. Wang Lin stood suspended in the sky, his eyes blazing crimson, like twin embers burning through the void. Below him stretched an endless grove of celestial ascension fruits, treasures that could shake the heavens themselves. Yet what he had taken was only a tenth, a mere tenth, and still it was enough to awaken something terrifying. He raised his hand. The moment his early ascendant cultivation surged forth, the earth trembled as if bowing to a sovereign of slaughter. Trees quaked violently, branches snapped, and then the fruits, tens of thousands of them, tore free from their stems. They rose like a crimson tide, rushing toward him. In a breath's time, nearly 100,000 celestial ascension fruits were sealed within his storage bag. Silence fell. But inside Wang Lin, there was no silence. The killing intent that had once been buried deep within him erupted. It surged like a volcanic tide, uncontrollable, suffocating. He let out a roar that shook the skies, and then, just as he prepared to leave, a cold snort echoed from the void. It did not travel through air. It pierced directly into his mind. Wang Lin's body shuddered violently. His vision blurred. Blood surged up his throat, and he coughed out a mouthful as his body fell from the sky like a broken star. He crashed into the ground. But in the next instant, his head snapped upward. His gaze burned with terrifying ferocity. Under normal circumstances, such an attack on his mind would have forced him to retreat immediately. Survival would have taken priority. But now something inside him had changed. Madness flickered behind his eyes. The injury did not weaken him. It fed him. With a swift motion, he slapped his storage bag and swallowed a handful of pills without hesitation. Then he stepped forward and vanished. He charged straight toward the source of that snort. Deep within his consciousness, he had already locked on to its origin. Kill. That single word echoed endlessly in his mind. The suppressed killing intent from his mortal transformation, once buried, once restrained, had been reignited by the celestial ascension fruit. The fiend who once made the sea of greed tremble had awakened once more. Wang Lin streaked across the sky like a blazing meteor, his body engulfed in a frenzy of battle intent as he rushed toward the distant tower hidden within the ancient battlefield. Then another cold snort descended. This one carried disdain and killing intent. It struck him again. Blood exploded from Wang Lin's mouth, but his eyes, they only grew wilder. Without hesitation, he summoned the fruits, nearly 100,000 of them, floating around him like a storm of crimson stars. His hand reached out and crushed them all. One by one, the fruits collapsed. Juice gathered, condensed, refined, until at last, all that remained was a single drop, a drop of liquid so red, it looked almost demonic. Wang Lin didn't hesitate. He swallowed it. In that instant, his body trembled violently. It felt as though it would explode. His blood roared through his veins at its absolute limit. His battle intent, his madness, both surged to a level never seen before. Then he reached into his storage bag once more. A wine jug appeared, the same jug he had obtained from the cave. Inside it, 10 drops of celestial liquid. Without pause, he drank 4. The moment the liquid entered his body, it erupted. Celestial spiritual energy surged through his meridians like thunder tearing across the heavens. The force was overwhelming, terrifying, far beyond what a mortal body could endure. If not for his ascension, if not for the tempering of his meridians by the ancient demon, he would have shattered instantly. But now, he endured, barely. His hair whipped wildly in the wind as he charged forward like a madman, his entire being consumed by frenzy. Inside the black tower, a ghostly light flickered across a suit of armor. A divine sense stirred. Has he gone insane? A trace of unease entered that ancient consciousness. If he reaches this place and damages the armor I inhabit, A pause. No, he will not make it here. A strand of killing intent slipped silently into the void. It locked onto Wang Lin. At that moment, celestial energy surged wildly within Wang Lin's body. The killing intent struck. His body trembled again, but his eyes only burned brighter. With a roar, the energy within him erupted outward, propelling him forward at even greater speed. He was like a flame. No matter how many times it was struck, it reignited again and again. His injuries were severe, far worse than before. Each attack from the tower pushed him closer to death, but the celestial ascension fruit, it would not allow his origin soul to calm. The madness remained. The battle intent refused to fade, even on the brink of death. He did not retreat, and with the celestial liquid coursing through him, his power only grew more violent. Within his mind, there was only one word: kill! The divine sense in the tower grew furious. Attack after attack descended. Anyone else would have perished instantly. But Wang Lin did not die. The fruit preserved his origin soul. The celestial liquid sustained his body. Death refused to claim him. Die! The divine sense roared, a trace of fear creeping in. From its perspective, this was no longer a man. This was madness incarnate. If I had known, I would never have tried to devour him. Its killing intent pierced through the void once more. Wang Lin coughed blood again, his eyes dimmed for a fleeting moment. But then the madness returned, stronger than ever. As he flew, a beast-like roar tore from his throat. Finger of death. A forbidden technique, one that devoured life itself. An aura of death spread from Wang Lin's body, merging with the heavens and earth. Below him, everything withered. Plants turned to dust. Birds fell from the sky. Beasts collapsed where they stood. The land transformed into a living hell. And from the dying world, threads of white life force rose. They chased after Wang Lin. They entered his body, repairing him, sustaining him. Elsewhere, in the fire demon country, a man in blue robes rode atop a horse. A massive sword rested on his back. His name was Zishu. Behind him marched 30,000 demon soldiers. One of the 12 swords of the Dalu sword sect, a peak late-stage soul transformation cultivator. Now their commander. They advanced steadily until suddenly Zishu's expression changed. He looked up. A blazing meteor streaked across the sky. His pupils shrank. An ascendant. Without hesitation, he ordered his army to retreat. He did not wish to provoke such a being. But then he noticed something. That ascendant was unstable, mad. And wherever he passed, life vanished. The earth withered completely. Zishu felt a chill run down his spine. Fortunately, their paths did not cross, or so he thought, because Wang Lin did not even notice them. In his world, there was only battle, only killing. Then another snort descended, stronger, sharper. It struck Wang Lin again. He coughed blood. His body teetered on collapse. His origin soul neared destruction. But the life force he had gathered, it surged back into him, healing him. Zishu watched from below, and when he saw Wang Lin cough blood, his eyes lit up. He's injured. His thoughts raced. Despite his aura, he's severely wounded. Greed flickered in his gaze. An ascendant cultivator must carry treasures beyond imagination. And if I refine his origin soul, my sword spirit will grow immensely. Killing intent surged within him, then faltered. But he is still an ascendant. Hesitation lingered, but only for a moment. If I let this chance pass, I may never find another like it. His eyes hardened. Then I will kill him. In an instant, Zishu transformed into a shadow. He charged into the sky. Behind him, the 30,000 soldiers formed a killing formation. A killing intent locked onto Wang Lin. Wang Lin turned. His blood-red gaze fell upon them. A cruel smile appeared. Then he moved. In a flash, he appeared beside Zishu. Too fast, far too fast. Zishu's expression changed drastically. He had expected the man to flee, not attack. With a cold snort, he formed a seal. His giant sword flew forth. But before it could strike, Wang Lin had already arrived. He grabbed the sword with one hand and casually threw it aside. Then he passed Zishu. As he did, he lightly tapped his shoulder. That single touch was death. Zishu trembled. His body withered instantly. His origin soul collapsed. In the blink of an eye, a life seal formed and flew into Wang Lin. Without stopping, Wang Lin descended into the army, and the slaughter began. Blood soaked the earth. Souls filled the sky. Life seals formed endlessly, each one feeding him. Half an incense stick later, silence. 30,000 soldiers. Gone, only blood remained. Wang Lin rose once more. 30,000 life seals pulsed within him, restoring his body bit by bit as they faded. He did not stop. He continued forward, toward the tower. Inside it, the divine sense trembled with rage. He consumed so many celestial ascension fruits, he no longer fears death. My attack should have ended him, but instead, he grows stronger. And worse, he possesses a technique that steals life itself. If this continues, a rare emotion surfaced. Regret. He will reach me.